and a good afternoon for a Saturday. I do like to bring something different every now and then, and it's all well and good reviewing all the good oil pastels, but every now and then you've got to look beyond that and try some of the cheaper oil pastels, because there's going to be many people out there that actually use cheaper oil pastels, and not only that, they'd probably like to buy some cheaper oil pastels just to see what they're like, to have a go with them before they progress. And in all honesty, that is the way I would tell you to progress. It's a good thing, in my opinion, to go from a really, really bad oil pastel and work your way up to the good oil pastels, because the good oil pastels are going to be just a little bit too much for you to handle at the moment. Having said that, the cheaper oil pastels are going to make you frustrated, but that's a real learning curve, and that's what will take your oil pastels forward. So today we're going to have a look at these. I wish I could do the noise like Shabasky does, but I can't, unfortunately. So we're going to have a look at these. This is the subject of this episode. Just for Deborah, that was. Anyway, let's have a look at these. These are Sizzix Oil Pastels, and as far as I know, they only come in this set of 12. They are very, very cheap. I mean, I paid no more than £3 for these, which is exceptionally cheap, and sometimes you can get them even cheaper than that. I thought they'd be worth having a look at, just for the example that sometimes some people might just want to have a go, just to see what they're all about, just to see how they feel, and obviously, hopefully, they would see my review and know that they're not going to get the best oil pastel in the world, but they may get something that's going to get them started. So without any further ado, we're going to have a look, and we're going to do the blend and test and see what the colours are all about. So here's the box of oil pastels. Let's open them up. They're just in a very thin cardboard box. There's some colours on the side, and on the front it says basically just oil pastels 12 pack. Sizzix is the brand, and on the back it says perfect colours to be used with sculpting foam. Well, that's something I would know nothing about, so I don't know if that makes these oil pastels different to any other oil pastels. I don't think it does, so I can't see that you wouldn't be able to use any other oil pastels with sculpting foam if that's what you do. I believe people make flowers and things like that and colour them with the oil pastels. But further down it does say it colours blend smoothly to create seamless fades. So we'll see that, or seamless blends that should really say, shouldn't it? And they work on paper, canvas, wood, plastic and glass. So yes, they are normal oil pastels. And they are from Drive Lake Forest. And I'm going to assume that's American. Mind you, on the bottom it does say made in China, but it looks like an American address to me. I don't know anything about these things. I'm not a well-travelled man. So anyway, the size of them is 3 inches and 0.95 circumference. Now you'll see on the picture that they've got a pointed tip. So let's open them up and have a look, shall we? Oh, there's a little picture of somebody using them on sculpting foam. So let's have a look at them. As I say, they're just a cheap box. I mean, the amount of money you pay for these. Oh, I've ripped the box. That's typical, isn't it? Never mind. We aren't going to worry about that. So, as you can see, I haven't opened these yet. So I'm going to do that now. Let's rip the cellophane off so you can see the oil pastels properly. Now, my first instincts of these are that I quite like the look of them. They remind me of something, and I can't think what it is. Something to do with DIY, I think it's the shape. But I do actually like the look of them. I think this is brilliant, and I think the hexagonal shape, hexagonal? yes, hexagonal shape is actually really nice. On the pastels, they have a colour name. They say Sizzix Oil Pastels, and that is literally all they have. And the reason I bought these was firstly because I like to buy all oil pastels, as you know. But secondly, I thought that some of these colours were kind of different to normal colours. And I also thought that somewhere along the line they may lend themselves to portraiture. I mean, not entirely. You can see that they're not entirely portrait based. But some of these colours, I mean, this green is absolutely fantastic. And I really do like this pinky purple here, this lavender one that they called it. Lavender dust. And I quite like this yellow ochre, although you can find that in other. But that orange, look at that pastel type orange. What's that called? That's called sorbet. And that does remind you of sorbet, doesn't it? But I mean, the red itself is a kind of a different red as well. I just think that they're really nice colours. But what we need to know is, how are these going to blend? Are they going to be any good for us to add to our oil pastel work? So I'm going to take the purple as always. I'm going to move my colour chart along. And I'm going to do some colouring here. So, ooh, they're actually quite soft, but with some firmness about them. There's no crumbling, really. I suppose if I pushed a bit harder, they would crumble. And let's mix this red, because I quite like that red. So they're really nice. I know it sounds like I like all oil pastels, but no, I don't. The truth is that I nearly did a video on a really bad oil pastel today, but I saw these Sizzix and I thought, yes, I've got to have a go with them. So let's get this yellow, and I'm going to put that up the top here near the purple. They're all actually quite consistent, and they do actually feel quite nice. They're quite soft, but with a bit of firmness about them. Let's have a blend, shall we? Again, it's not one of the warmest days in my studio. Roll on summer is what I say. They're really quite opaque. And I'm not getting a bad blend there. Wow, that really is a surprise for such a cheap oil pastel. So far, I'm not going to count the chickens before they hatch, but so far, these are acting way above their pay grade. I'm actually quite impressed with them at the moment. So, that's the colour. Let's zoom in a bit for you. So that's the colours. There's a little bit of transparency in this purple, but what we're going to do is we're going to now put another layer on, like we usually do, just to see how they layer up. I think they're having a little bit of a struggle layering up there. Well, the purple is anyway. And so's the red. And let's put this yellow on. They will layer up, but I don't think they're going to be the best for layering. Okay, and let's just blend that down and see what we get. Well, I would say at the moment they're very usable. They're actually kind of quite a good start for somebody who wanted to have a play with oil pastels. I'm mixing that purple into that yellow, look, so you're getting quite a nice blend going on there. Not bad, not the best, but not bad either. And they will spread out, so you can spread them. Now let's have a look at the pilling aspect, because I noticed I was starting to get a bit there. So I'm gently going to go across this. They are pilling, but they're not the worst I've ever seen. Not by a long shot, in fact, but they're not good. Yeah, you can see they've really gone scruffy now. So we just add a bit more pastel on there. Try and cover the fact that we've messed up. And see where we go. Where's the red? Oh, pressed too hard then. I was getting carried away. Right, okay. What are my opinions? They're nice colours. No doubt about that. Really nice colours. My second opinion is that I believe that they're not going to layer very well. They are soft. They are not hard. They are not creamy, but they are soft. They are not going to layer up very well. They will peel quite nastily. They're not the worst I've ever seen. I think if I was to advise anybody, I'd say, well, have a go with them. You know, see what they're like, and that gives you some idea of what oil pastel's about. But don't expect that you're going to end up with a fantastic picture. They're not going to blend like these other oil pastels will. I think, for a start, for just a couple of pounds, like I said, have a go. Just have a go. So, my marks out of 10. I think I'm going to say about a 5, maybe a 4, 4-5. I like the shape, I love the colours. I don't like the fact that it peels and doesn't layer. But I do like the fact that they're quite soft. So they're definitely going to be worth a shout. You know, you could certainly do something with these, especially if you layer up. I mean, look, they're blending out quite nice. So I can layer up with very thin layers. I think that's the way to go with them. And I can imagine that they would actually layer up really nice on some sculpting foam, actually. Not that I know much about that sort of stuff. But now I'm on a 3rd layer. That's a very thin layer. I wouldn't really want to go any higher than that. So the texture feels better than the small Pastels, but they're not as good as the small Pastels in my opinion. I hope that's helped you make your decision. For £3 though, I think they're definitely worth a go and worth accustoming yourself to oil pastels. So that's just a very quick oil pastel review of the Sizzix Oil Pastels for today. They're not bad. They could be worse. They could definitely be worse, but then they could be a lot better. Definitely getting something that's a little bit better than the price, if I'm being honest. So worth a shout, worth having a look at, worth seeing if you like oil pastels, but don't take them as being good oil pastels because they are not.